Something that a lot of people don't consider, and I feel like a lot of families suffer in silence about, is that your child could develop a disability or be born with a disability that makes them not live independently, and you are now in that caregiver role forever. And that can be the reality for a lot of families. And like that financial, emotional, I don't want to call it burden, but that toll that's lifelong and never kind of cease to happen, like cease, because you now have another person that's depending on you lifelong. And something I've always wanted to ask is like elderly people or older people who have had children or is now a caregiver, a lifelong caregiver for a child that was born with a disability or develop a disability, like what's your plan for after you pass? Like, do you ever worry about what's going to happen to this person and the quality of their life once you've passed on, because they may not have access to that level of care again? And I'm not saying this to fearmonger. I'm saying this after I recently thought about it. Like, I was around a family member who had asked me to kind of watch their child for them, and the child has a severe disability. And after I left there, I was only there for about like 2 days. I felt so depleted. Like, my energy levels were so low, and I was just like, I don't think that I would ever accept to watch that child, to give that family member a break again, just because I don't feel like I am equipped to be able to handle the workload that came with like just being on 24/7 and just being like, wow, like I can't even sit down for a second without having you needing something from me. And I know that sounds awful, and I hope it doesn't sound awful, because I do love this person to pieces, but I was just like, do you ever have anybody volunteering to kind of babysit for you or watch your child for you? And how many people are actually equipped to handle that like workload, because they are not neurotypical and they do have a disability? Like, it might be hard to even find reprieve within your family, and we're like the type of people that are like, yeah, we're gonna babysit, no problem. But that was just one of the things I'm like, this might be above me. Like, I've never thought about the possibility that like your child could have a disability that may impact and affect everybody else's quality of life around them, because now you now have this life to sustain and you are the caregiver. If this message reaches anybody who is the caregiver of a child with a long-term disability and they may not have independent living, I want to hear from you. Like, how are you coping? Like, what are you doing for yourself? How do you go about finding support and having somebody watch your child for a few hours to give you a break? Like, do you even get a break? And I hope this doesn't come off offensively. I'm like genuinely interested in something that I've never thought about, that like when you're making a decision to have a child, like your child could have a disability or they could develop a disability, something that may hinder them from having any independence in the future.